You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Wednesday, June 17th. I'm Maria Lisignoli.
I'm Johnny Kahner. Thank you for listening and watching Four Things to Know today.
Our top story. The man accused of killing UnitedHealthcare CEO appeared in court today, and we learned about the defense that Luigi Mangione's attorneys will use at this fall's state murder trial. His attorneys are planning to present a psychiatric defense, arguing Mangione killed Brian Thompson while experiencing an extreme emotional disturbance. Brian Thompson lived in Minnesota. The judge today ordered the defense to turn over the name of their psychiatric expert no later than tomorrow. The judge said, quote, prosecutors need to know what the malady is that this defendant suffers and how that triggered an extreme emotional disturbance at the time and place of the occurrence. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to murdering Brian Thompson in December of 2024 in New York City. If a jury finds that Mangione was emotionally disturbed at the time of the deadly shooting, it could convict him of manslaughter instead of murder, meaning he'd be sentenced to less time in prison. Now, this is not the same as a not guilty by reason of insanity defense, which would allow a defendant to go to a psychiatric facility instead of prison. Mangione also has pleaded not guilty to federal stalking charges. The state trial is scheduled to start September 8th. The federal trial is scheduled to start October 13th.
Number two, an update on the latest developments after U.S. prosecutors in Minnesota announced charges against 15 people they say conspired to, quote, violently oppose immigration law enforcement. Despite the fact U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen did not describe a single example of injuries to federal agents when repeatedly questioned yesterday. We saw video of one of the people charged getting arrested in South Minneapolis yesterday morning. Federal agents in tactical gear led a man into a black SUV while protesters shouted at them. The Department of Justice claims he and 14 others were part of a, quote, Antifa conspiracy to block and hurt ICE agents. Barrett Leone was at the federal courthouse today. She has the latest on these cases, and she also hears from one of the defendants, Cameron Kennedy, and one of the prosecutors, Michael McCarthy, with the Department of Homeland Security.
And that defendant calls this case politically motivated. He was one of the dozen who appeared in court Tuesday afternoon. And right now, two defendants remain at large currently. Federal prosecutors, though, they say that this case is the result of a months-long investigation. 15 people are facing federal charges in connection to anti-ICE protests here in Minnesota. Those charges include conspiracy to impede or injure federal officers, assault on a federal officer, interstate stalking, destruction of government property, and more. Outside the federal courthouse Tuesday, supporters gathered throughout the afternoon as 12 of the 15 defendants made their first court appearance. All 12 who appeared in court were released pending future hearings. Now, we spoke with one defendant who called the evidence against him flimsy.
And there was 12 armed men with assault rifles pointed at me, demanding that I surrender or basically be shot. This is what they will do, and they won't go away if we become quiet or become docile. That's when they start to take control again. That's when they start to make moves again. We need to get loud, we need to get into the streets, and we need to resist them.
At a news conference Tuesday announcing the charges, U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen pointed to a statement Kennedy made online describing the burning of Minneapolis's 3rd precinct as, quote, the happiest moment of my life. In another post, he wrote, quote, you will never win with non-violence. Kennedy denied the allegations. Investigators said defendants were charged not for what they said, but what they did.
Today's announcement is the result of a thorough and months-long investigation into a deeply concerning trend: coordinated violence targeting federal law enforcement officers and facilities.
Now, Rosen made multiple references to violence made by those charged. However, when repeatedly asked about how many agents were injured or specific injuries, he did not give any specific examples.
Number 3 today. State lawmakers are now calling for Metro Transit to scrap their plans to expand a light rail line. But they're more than half a decade into the project already. But this comes over concerns of costs for the Blue Line LRT extension. Right now, the Blue Line runs between the Mall of America and Target Field. The proposed extension continues that light rail line north to Brooklyn Park. In the past few days, we've learned that price tag is up more than $300 million. Adam Duxter has more on the numbers.
At its core, it's simple. It's just about getting people from one place to another, specifically from the North Metro down to downtown Minneapolis. But the concern is this project is already years in is the price tag. It was already high. $3.2 billion to extend the Blue Line. And it was so high, state lawmakers called for this report, essentially a comprehensive audit. Now we know that $3.2 billion price tag is even higher, with Metro Transit saying they under budgeted by about $330 million. It's enough for the head of Transportation Committee for the state of Minnesota to say he wants to scrap the plan for light rail entirely in favor of expanding bus routes. And this comes, as you mentioned, as the project is already years in. In fact, they're hoping to start construction as soon as next year. House Transportation Chair John Koznick has slammed this project in recent days, calling for that alternative. Scrap the plans for the light rail in favor of bus rapid transit. He says bus transit would, in theory, save a lot of money. It's about a quarter of the annual cost and significantly less in yearly maintenance cost. Metro Transit says it's not that simple. It would take essentially starting from scratch, wasting the hundreds of millions they've already spent and putting the federal funding they've secured in jeopardy. Koznick says he's confident buses would not only serve the same job, but do it for cheaper.
We weren't surprised, but we were. It is shocking to outsiders, and it should be shocking to Hennepin County commissioners that there's one option of $3.6 billion. Compare that to $120 million for an arterial bus line that basically serves the same corridor. It's a different mode.
The other big kicker of potentially going from light rail to bus is the timeline. This report says it would delay construction until 2030 at the earliest. And Koznick says he is not certain the LRT project couldn't be delayed that long either, but he says what he's focused on is the total cost.
Your fourth thing to know today, the convicted ringleader in the nation's largest pandemic fraud scheme wants a new trial. A judge sentenced Amy Bach last month to more than 40 years for leading the Feeding Our Future scheme. Yesterday, Bach filed a notice that she's appealing both the sentence and her conviction. Prosecutors say the group stole $250 million by pretending to feed hungry children. More than 70 people have been charged in the scheme. We'll, of course, let you know how that appeal process goes. Those are the four things to know today. Let's check in now on our next weather forecast.
Hi, I'm next weather meteorologist Lisa Meadows. Forecast for tonight taking down to the mid-50s. We should dry out overnight tonight, bringing back more sunshine for tomorrow. High temp for tomorrow coming in at 71.
And now, here's more to know.
3 people are dead after a crash involving an SUV and a motorcycle in North Branch earlier this month. North Branch is about 45 miles northeast of Minneapolis. Police say the crash happened June 6th at the intersection of Lincoln Trail and Hillshire Avenue. Investigators say the 3 people killed include 74-year-old Pamela Dunn of Shell Lake, Wisconsin. Her obituary says she was a business owner and a grandmother and, quote, will be remembered for her unwavering love, kindness, and selflessness. 33-year-olds Shelby Walker and Samantha Troff of Harris, Minnesota were also killed. Walker's obituary says he worked as a machinist at Regal Machine in Wyoming, Minnesota. It also shows that he was life partners with Samantha Troff. Troff was a former employee at the Wildlife Science Center in Stacy, Minnesota. The center posted about Troff on their Facebook page and said, quote, in Sam's short life, she spread her passion for wild places and wild things like a fire, and WSC is forever grateful to have been one of her stopping places on her journey, end quote. And the center also said Troff and Walker were riding the motorcycle involved in the crash.
The future of data centers in Minneapolis remains up in the air following a city council meeting yesterday. But for the first time, we are now hearing from Minneapolis residents on the topic. Right now, there is a 6-month pause on all data center developments in Minneapolis. That's other than projects happening within the downtown core. But this is not a data center ban. This time, it's actually to create regulations and to explore potential harm these projects could cause for the community.
Data centers provide thousands of work hours for our members in family-sustaining careers that offer industry-leading wages, healthcare, retirement benefits, and apprenticeship training opportunities.
These centers are a drain on public resources and a blight on our communities that will drive away business-minded individuals and entrepreneurs who understand that the public outcry around these data centers will lead to a further exodus of our entertainment and hospitality industry.
That debate on data centers will now head to the full city council for a vote. And Maria, another topic the council discussed yesterday, bathhouses.
Yes, that's right. And the vote to lay the groundwork for bathhouses in Minneapolis failed at a committee meeting yesterday. But under council rules, it will still move to a vote by the full city council. Bathhouses were banned in Minneapolis back in 1988 during the AIDS crisis. Now, those in favor say legalizing bathhouses allows for greater opportunity for these venues to better combat the spread of STIs through things like testing. We heard from City Council member Auburn Chowdhury.
To keep them banned and closed does not reduce HIV, especially in a city where there are bathhouses that are happening, but they're happening underground.
Councilmember Jason Chavez says the ban is rooted in homophobia. Again, that topic will get considered by the full council at a later date. But today, the Minneapolis Full Council is going to be discussing a pretty big topic.
Yeah, this is something we've been following for a while. Park leaders say a beloved dog park is actually a sacred site with deep meaning for Dakota tribes. The Minnehaha off-leash dog park runs along the Mississippi River, and it gives dog owners a chance to let their dogs run free in the water. It's been open for years, but now a park board member introduced a resolution in early June to decommission the dog park because of cultural significance. Last night, the park board president shared a statement with us saying in part, quote, "We have received significant input from constituents, native leaders, MPRB staff, historians, and archaeologists on this issue, enough that we feel we can make an informed decision," end quote. Now he wants to see people start talking about alternate locations. The park board has consulted with the Native American Advisory Council. Some members focused on the spiritual significance, saying dogs at the site would stop a native person from praying there. But some dog owners, like Carter Kazmayer, say they don't agree with that reasoning.
And this is a secular governing body, and they're not supposed to be making zoning decisions based off theology.
There is at least one park board member who wants to slow down the process. She introduced an amendment that calls for more community engagement. That final vote is scheduled for tonight. We will, of course, keep you updated on what happens there.
Candidates running to be Minnesota's next governor just filed reports showing how much they have to spend on their campaigns. And there's a large disparity between the parties. In the race to be the Republican candidate, House Speaker Lisa Dameth reports more than $360,000. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell shows almost $650,000 in his fund, while the party-endorsed candidate Kendall Qualls has about $211,000 in his fund. The candidates will face off in a primary on August 11th. And running unopposed for the DFL nomination to be governor, Democratic U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar reports more than $7 million in campaign funds. The general election is November 3rd.
Happening today in St. Paul, a summer program keeping kids healthy is kicking off. St. Paul Public Schools will provide free meals to kids 18 and under who are currently enrolled in a school program. Kids and teens can grab a meal at more than 50 schools, recreation centers, libraries, and community sites. Again, that starts today. The St. Paul Public Schools food truck will also serve favorites like burgers, rice bowls, nachos, and more.
Yum.
Yeah, that sounds so good. The program lasts through August 21st. You can check out the Public Schools website for a full schedule.
A small community in Minnesota is coming together for one of their own as he faces a difficult journey ahead. A 5-year-old boy saved his younger brother's life, but he fell into an icy creek in the process. This happened in Greenway, Minnesota, about a half hour south of Hibbing. His name is Ashken, and he's fighting for his own life in a pediatric intensive care unit after needing surgery on his internal organs. And now, some moms from his Mini Mites hockey team are coming together to support his family. See, they've teamed up with a local clothing line to print out T-shirts with the saying, "Stick together for Ash." They're pressing, printing, and shipping, all done by the moms like Kayla Swanson.
Everybody in the state of Minnesota can kind of relate to a hockey community rallying around one of their own.
Even though the population of Greenway is less than 2,000 people, the moms say they've already sold a third of that in T-shirts. And we're hoping Ash pulls through. We know he has so much love and community around him.
Yeah, really, he must be really brave too. Jumping in ice, save your brother. I mean, what a young kid. And yeah, you can certainly find more information on how to buy those shirts online.
All right, let's get to some sports, Johnny. I'm going to start here, okay?
Let's
Because
go.
I actually watched a little bit of the World Cup, and I know you haven't watched any of it.
I saw a little of
Did you?
Brazil and Paraguay over the weekend.
Okay.
That's about it, though.
Yeah. Okay, last night was a fun game to watch. Argentina versus Algeria. And of course, Argentina has Lionel Messi.
Of course.
Who's like the most famous, even if you don't watch soccer, you know the name, Messi. So, I mean, he's playing for his home country, Argentina, but now he plays for Miami.
In the MLS,
In
right?
the MLS, right. But he's back playing for his team, and he, first of all, they won 3-0, and he now has the record for, well, actually, he now joins in having the record for the most scores in a World Cup.
Wow. It's like throughout his career.
Throughout his career. So 16 goals in a World Cup.
Legend.
He shares that top title. I couldn't tell you.
So he'll probably
who
break
has
it soon.
I mean, there's still so much time left. We're only a week in.
Yeah.
And he also had another big first last night. So he's 38 years old, and he scored his first World Cup hat trick of his career.
Big game. I missed it.
I know. It was really cool. He also became the oldest player to ever do that.
Legend.
All
time.
It was really fun. I know that the U.S., they are 1-0 right now.
Yeah, we play Australia on Friday.
Okay.
And that'll be fun.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm definitely going to tune into that, start the weekend. This is also a fun World Cup story. So a lot of World Cup fans, they have not been able to cheer on their country for years because it's tough to get in, right? You got to qualify. And one team is Norway. They haven't played for 28 years.
28 years.
Yeah, in the
Wow.
World Cup. So fans figured they'd make quite the entrance to the stadium. Take a listen. Yeah, the fans were doing a Viking row up an escalator in Boston on their way to Gillette Stadium yesterday.
So if you're just listening to this, just picture a bunch of Norwegian fans dressed in like full Viking gear, sitting on an escalator and rowing it as though it's a boat.
They were so pumped.
It was so pumped.
The team faced off against Iraq yesterday, and the pregame celebrations, they did not stop just with the rowing. Certainly some singing, too.
I wish I knew what they were saying.
Yeah.
Sounds great, though.
They had plenty to celebrate after the game also. They won 4-1.
And Johnny, you're going to go on a trip to Norway soon.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. About a month away.
What if they win the World Cup?
I know. Well, I don't know how long it goes, but we're hoping they're still playing by then. Is that possible?
I think they'll probably be done by
Yeah.
then, but having just finished.
So maybe
within
they
the last
win
week.
and we celebrate in
Oh,
Norway.
that would be
Oh,
cool.
that'd be
That
awesome.
would be really cool. No, except we want, obviously
course.
men's national team to win.
USA.
Of course.
Let's go USA. The PWHL draft, that's today. The Frost, they're going to be looking to improve their roster. They were eliminated this year in the first round of the playoffs. They hold the 9th overall pick, so I think it's pretty low because there's not that many teams in the league. So.
Right. Good point.
But they could be looking at defense. That's after two of their best players at the position. They went to an expansion team this offseason, so they also lost some key forwards as well. Going to have more tonight on their draft in sports. And the Lynx are out in LA tonight. Oh, we talked about that yesterday. LA. I like it out there.
I know, especially because today is so rainy
I
and
know.
gross.
I know.
Yeah.
This weekend's looking better, though, I think.
I think so. And it's actually a late game tonight. Tip off at 9 p.m. our time.
Gonna have to stay up late. Hopefully they get another win. Twins are off today, but they've actually been good lately, surprisingly. They've won 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5. They're back in action tomorrow in Texas.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
It's the greatest of the Great Lakes, and the deepest part of Lake Superior had not been formally visited for 40 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
Until now. Yeah.
What are they doing?
Just a couple weeks ago, 2 underwater filmmakers sent a remotely operated vehicle to the Superior Maximus. That is more than 1,300 feet down.
I wonder what the pressure is like down there.
Oh, probably massive.
Crazy.
I mean, it's not like you're tens of thousands of feet down in the ocean, but it's still, really deep.
Yeah.
I mean, for some perspective, the tallest building in downtown Minneapolis is the IDS Center, and that's about 800 feet.
Wow, way deeper than that.
Right.
My goodness.
Almost double that. So that is pretty wild. So we spoke with the filmmaker, Yvonne Draber.
Going to the deepest part of Lake Superior is kind of like visiting a lunar surface. It really does feel like the surface of the moon down there. And the creatures that you see down there are kind of out of this world.
And cameras captured a variety of creatures, rock formations. They even found a beer can down there.
This sounds like a story right up my alley. I love watching this stuff.
I know. It really does feel like Yvonne said, like space exploration.
Yeah,
but
like a different world.
It's a different world.
Totally.
Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, a ton of people tuned in to watch this. They live streamed when they did the dive, and like 10,000 people tuned in.
Well, and this just reminds me, like, even with the ocean, we don't know much about the ocean surface at all.
I know.
mean, it's just so, obviously that's much deeper than Lake Superior, but
and much
for
bigger.
Minnesota,
But even we haven't explored this deep point in 40 years until
crazy.
now.
It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're going to be doing more dives and more research for a documentary that's coming out in a couple months. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining us here on 4 Things to Know with Johnny Kahner. I'm Maria Lisignoli, and we're here with the news you need every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Love podcasts? Love Minnesota?
Check out the WCCO podcast studio lineup.
Hear the top stories of the day with 4 Things to Know.
Discover top female athletes and teams from around the state on women in sports.
Dive into stories about faith and belief, from your local leaders to your neighbors next door, with Bigger Than Belief.
Stay in the know on the go with the WCCO podcast studio. Go to WCCO.com/podcasts.